מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי לא יחסר, בנודש ירביצני, על מי מנוחות ינהלני, נפשי ישובב, ינחני במגלי צדק, למען שמו. גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות, לא יירא רע, כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך, המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן, נגד צורריי, דשנת בשם ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבת בבית אדוני לאורך ימים.
As Kenner Schiffman opened our service by chanting in Hebrew the words of Psalm 23, now let's read together Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Adonai Natan v'Adonai Lakach, Yishem Adonai Mevarach. The Lord has given, the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. We gather here today to express our deep abiding love and respect and honor, and to say goodbye to our beloved May Hershey, who was taken from us this week at the age of 96. Our hearts are filled with grief and sadness over her passing. After 96 years, it's hard to imagine her not being there. The mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother that watched over you, cared for you, nurtured you, with whom you celebrated so many joyous moments in life. But there is also a sense of celebration and gratitude for the gift of her life and for all that it represents. The rabbis tell a very beautiful tale of two ships, one ship heading out to sea and one returning. And the rabbis point out that when a ship heads out to sea, it's often the custom that people gather at the dock to see the ship off. There might be bands and music, great celebration. But when that same ship returns home, it generally returns to port alone. And the rabbi said, that's backwards. Why do we celebrate when the ship sets forth? We don't know what that ship's journey will be, what storms it will encounter, what challenges it will face, what adventures it will experience, what treasures it will find. The time to celebrate should be when the ship comes home, to celebrate a journey well completed. And so the rabbis say it is with our lives. When a baby's born, we have parties, fill balloons and flowers, send gifts and celebrate. But we don't know what life has in store for that child. The time of birth is, in actuality, a time of great trepidation, for we don't know what the future will bring. The time to celebrate is at the end of life, to celebrate a journey well completed. May's journey was, in every sense, well completed. A family that was not, actually a journey which was not without its challenges, but was filled with great love and great joy at every turn. May was a loving and devoted wife to Bob of blessed memory, and a loving, devoted mother to you, Meryl, and Bonnie and Frank, Denny and Judy. A loving grandmother to you, Allison and Chuck, to Jonathan of blessed memory, to David and Carrie, to Michelle, to Aaron and Darcy, to Noah and Jen, and to Julie and Jeremy. And a loving, proud great-grandmother to Jordan and David, Rory, Riley, Zoe, Talia, Seba. I knew I was going to not pronounce that name right. I apologize to you, Seba. Logan, Becky, Dylan, Caleb, Mila, Bennett, Leo, and Grayson. And a great-great-grandmother to Nora and Hazel. How extraordinary. She was a loving sister to Esther of blessed memory, and a loving aunt to Carol and Deborah and Peter and to Lauren, and a great aunt to so many grandnieces and nephews. All of you loved May in life, and now we're left to revere her memory in death, and we pray that her memory bring you comfort. And I want to take a moment also to acknowledge and express gratitude for the very special relationship that May had with her caregivers who took such loving care of her. The family asked that I acknowledge them today on their behalf and thank them. Sandy, Daisy, Pat, and Deborah. All of you were amazing, and especially Sandy, who was like a daughter to May and like a sister to May's children, like part of the family. Also deep gratitude for the Hospice of the Western Reserve, for the loving way in which they cared for me. We can't talk about May without talking about her relationship with Bob. They were a pair. They met when May was 20 and Bob was 24, going to an adult camp at Annisfield. And so the story goes, it was to be a blind date, a double date. And when May got in the car, Bob was pretending that he was sleeping. He later admitted this, that he wasn't really sleeping. He first wanted to see what she looked like. Well, he must have liked what he saw, because right away they began to date and became a couple. Neither one dated another person after that. That was it. They belonged to each other for life. They got married during the Jewish holidays and had 3 weeks to plan the wedding. And they were married at Heights Temple by Rabbi Rosenthal in a simple but beautiful wedding at which May wore her sister's dress. May was very in love with Bob, and he very in love with her. They enjoyed life together. They were always smiling and laughing. Never a dull moment between them. They were married for 70.5 years. An incredible lifetime of shared love and blessing in which they created this extraordinary family. After they were married, Bob went into the army. And Bob was assigned to an infantry base in South Carolina. May went to work there as a secretary in the general's office. That turned out to be very fortuitous, When Bob's unit was ordered to be transferred overseas, May told the general she was working for that she was stepping down from her position. He was taken aback. He relied upon her. But she explained that if her husband was being transferred overseas, there was no reason for her to be at the base anymore. And lo and behold, the orders were rescinded, and he was not sent overseas. The two built a very beautiful life together, ultimately moving back to Ohio, living first in a home in University Heights, where Bonnie was born. Here in Cleveland, Bob sold insurance, but a better opportunity came along to be a manufacturer's rep for auto parts. The catch was the job involved traveling Monday through Friday. But Bob knew it was a good decision, and May fully supported him. It's not an easy thing to have a husband who travels Monday through Friday for his work. May raised the children in some ways by herself, but she did it to support Bob, who she loved, and she did it because she loved you, her children, and she managed to build an incredibly loving and supportive and joy-filled home. And that step ultimately led to Bob and his partner buying out Service Sales, which led to his very successful business, which provided for the family. May was a wonderful mother. She could sometimes make you laugh with her great sense of humor. She was, as some of the flammers said, a bit of a character. But always, always, always with a great deal of love. And she supported each of you in seeking out the way to establish yourselves in your own life. She told you what you needed to hear, even when it's not what you wanted to hear. She had high expectations. She wanted to teach you the right way and right from wrong. The home was always filled with lots of kids. She gave you lots of space in the basement to do your own thing. And as you grew into adulthood, she also gave you space in your life to do your own thing and to be your own person. And that was a great gift. Donnie, you shared that when you moved to Boston after college, and Bonnie, when you moved to Boston after college, you later wrote to your mom to tell her that you wanted to thank her for trusting you and allowing you to follow your own path. And in the same way, Meryl, when you went on your own spiritual journey, she also supported you, even if she didn't always understand. But she knew she had to give each of you room to be your own person. In the same way, she was a loving and supportive grandmother and great-grandmother and great-great-grandmother. She loved when all of you would come to visit and loved when you left. She kept such nachas from the family that surrounded her, and had so much love for each and every one of you, and was so proud of each and every one of you. And how amazing that she was able to be here even for these 3 most recent babies, for Grace and Leo and Hazel. Just extraordinary. May didn't drive until automatic transmission came out. She could not do stick shift. But you recall with me a beautiful story about when she got that 2-tone yellow Plymouth with automatic transmission. And she asked Bob to back it out. And Bob said, "If you can't back it out, I'm returning it." So she figured it out. She was good at figuring things out. She raised all of you by herself. And she instilled in you her wonderful sense of humor, the way that she always told the best jokes always had a story. Allison, you once asked May, when do I start to feel like a grown-up? And she said, I'll let you know. She was a bit of a spendthrift. She'd read all the coupons in the paper before she read the front page. Once she saw that there was a deal at a particular store, 3 heads of lettuce for $1. That's a deal. Wouldn't you seek out that deal? So she did. She drove all the way to Akron for the 3 heads of lettuce. And she gave 2 of them to her kids because she didn't need them, but how could she pass up 3 heads of lettuce for $1? She loved to dance, loved parties, she loved to golf. She was very social, and she had a great number of friends for many long years. She held on to each of them. At the country club, whenever she was there with her family, she would always ask people to join them. And Judy, you shared that sometimes when you would say you were going out with Denny, she would say, who are you going out with? And you'd say, with Denny. And she'd say, but who else is coming along? Because she just couldn't envision what it would be like just to go out just yourselves. Because she was always surrounded by her friends. She taught you how to knit. She used to tailor her own clothes. She made afghans for all the grandchildren and everybody. She loved to play mahjong and canasta and to travel to the Orient and Israel for 2 bar mitzvahs, many other places. She loved flea markets and penny slots at the casino, and the internet in later years, which she would just call my computer, where she would sit and click likes for all the Facebook posts that would come by. She liked every single Facebook post I ever put on Facebook. I could always count on May to be the first one to like it, within seconds. She also had on the computer a video of Bob, and she, until about a year ago, used to watch that video before she went to bed. It brought her comfort. She liked game shows and would tape them and watch them. She loved her time in Florida at Boca Lago, which was so precious. You would all bring down your kids. She would play tennis. And I have fond memories of those times as well. We had a great group that would go down. They would meet together for lunch at Boca Lago whenever I went to Florida. Bob and May were always a part of that group, and we always had a good time together. They loved hearing about what was happening in the synagogue, and felt a very strong sense of connection to B'nai Shirin. We're excited to see the plans and know what was going forward. She was not religious, but the holidays were important to her, and holiday family dinners were always together. Rosh Hashanah, Passover, but Thanksgiving was really her holiday. And Meryl, you said that when you bought the house, Thanksgiving came with it. And you were a little nervous that first year having to take on that responsibility and to host. In addition to her involvement in the synagogue, she was a Lion of Judah and president of the Orthodox Jewish Women's Children Association. And she brought into your home the first exchange student in Beechwood, Jacqueline Eisenstein from Brazil, who she stayed close with for many years and even traveled to Brazil to visit. There are so many wonderful memories of vacations shared together, of those wonderful big family trips, gathering the whole family together, one of them with 43 members of the extended Hershey family. Memories of the girls' trips to Miraval and Canyon Ranch and Toronto for theater. You shared that on one of those trips at one of the spas, you did a group exercise activity in the spa. I guess I wasn't clear from my notes. Maybe it was in the sauna or something like that, just in the spa in general. But at one point, May said, I have to sit down. I'm getting sweaty. And you said to her, that's the whole point. You're supposed to sweat. So many wonderful, beautiful memories. So much love. She was a beautiful person, inside and out. Filled with joy and humor, filled with love and caring. She was very beautiful. You said to me she had a sweet face to the end. I thought that was a beautiful, beautiful statement. And that she got more beautiful as she got older. And she didn't recognize her own beauty. She had a humility about it, but others could see it. Others knew it. She left you an extraordinary legacy. Most important, she taught you the meaning of family, the importance of staying close together, of building relationships, of supporting each other. She taught you right from wrong and important social graces. And most important, she taught you the importance of making memories for family. To hold everyone together so the family can be nurtured by each other. You know, our sages teach that the time of our death always has some significance. It means something. It's not a coincidence. And May passed away and will be laid to rest during this festival of Chanukah. And each night of Chanukah we light the Chanukiah, the Chanukah menorah, adding candle to candle, increasing the light. We aren't allowed to simply take a match and light each individual candle, though. We have to use that shamish candle. It is a shamish candle that lights all the others. That's the meaning of the word shamish. It is the servant candle, or maybe better said, the enabling candle. It is the shamish candle and its light that enables the light of all the other candles to shine. May was the shamish in all of your lives. Her light enabled your light to shine. Her warmth enabled you to feel warmth. Her joy taught you the meaning of joy. Her devotion to family taught you the meaning of family. She was the great enabler who enabled you to embrace the values that she stood for, that she taught by her example, who enabled you to embrace her love and joy, and to be able then to radiate that same love and joy outward to your children and their children, to the rest of the family, to all the friends and community that fill your lives. Now May is gone, and yet even as she is gone, she is still here, because our tradition teaches that though the body dies, the soul lives on eternally bound to its Creator. And May's light will always live on in each of you. May her memory be for a blessing. And we say it together, Amen. Please rise to the memorial prayer. Oh, I'm sorry, please be seated. I apologize, it's my error, I very much apologize. Meryl, please come forward, I'm going to share some words, and also read a piece by her daughter. I'm sorry, Meryl, I'm sorry.
I thought I was starting.
You were,
I was starting?
I apologize.
That's okay. Hi, everybody. Hi, everyone. A couple things. The rabbi did not ask for names, and I grew up with my first cousins. We were very close. So there was Shelley and Billy, and there was Carol, Barry, Lauren, and Debbie. So I didn't want to leave out any names. And, of course, now we have their spouses, and that's all one big happy family. And the other thing is my mother never played tennis. In fact, when she went to the doctor, a couple of years ago, and he said, "Well, you have congestive heart failure." And she said, "Well, how much longer will it be?" And she was already in her 90s. And he said, "You know, if you move around a lot, then your heart will be used a lot and it'll go sooner. She says, fancy chance of that. Okay, so I have a few prepared notes. We'll see what I say. May Wohl Hershey. Where do I start describing this wonderful woman I've been honored to call my mother? How about a few words to describe her, like witty and wise, warm and generous, loving and lovable? Actually, during a meditation right after she transitioned, I heard my father's voice very clearly say to me, "She's a feisty old broad." My father passed away 4 years ago, and people came up to her and said to her, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." And she said, "There's no reason to be sorry. We had a good life. We had a marriage that lasted for over 70 years. We have no regrets." She really missed my dad, and in some ways was eager to join him. In fact, several years ago, she said to me, "I had a dream last night that I lived to be 100. It was a nightmare." They say that cats have 9 lives. Well, I think my mom had 99 lives. We said goodbye to her many, many times. She had some major physical issues, and then she came back. I would talk to my sister or my brother or my daughter, and they say, "She's back." So she rallied over and over again. We started saying our serious goodbyes when she became bedridden last February, and we all came in to say goodbye, and then she's back. Those of you who personally knew my mom knew her wit. I call her a character. For instance, when my friend came over, she said to her, "Do you have any children?" And my friend said, "No." So my mother looked at her very seriously and said, "Well, what do you do for aggravation?" During one of the times when we thought we were saying goodbye, she called me in and she said, "Honey, it feels like I'm right at the brim. All I need is a push." And at that same visit, my sister was in too, and she says, "Bonnie, bring the paper. Open up the obituary section. See if my name's in there." My siblings, the grandchildren, and I have other Mayisms, but some of them are a little bit off color, so ask us about them privately. We'll share some with you. In the Jewish religion, we believe the souls are eternal. We are each a piece of God. When my son transitioned, it's now over 6 years, he sent, and he continues to send me butterflies. And my dad sent me dragonflies. So many months ago, I said to Mom, "Mom, when you go, I want you to send me," listen carefully, "I want you to send me ladybugs and rainbows." Well, even with her hearing aids in, she couldn't quite hear. And she said to me, "You want me to send you raisins?" So if you see raisins floating around, you know where they're from. She was really tired. I talked to her every day, and I say, "How are you, Mom?" She says, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm just so tired." So her body was wearing out. She was ready to go. And she would often say, "Well, what do you expect? I'm 96 years old. I'm an old lady." So she knew that it was getting to be the end of her life, and she was glad. She was looking forward to the end of this journey and the beginning of her next one. Several years ago, I asked Mom what she thought happened after she died. And she said she knew that she'd see her grandson, my son Johnny. She'd see Dad and her mom and her sisters and her friends, and then she'd get to sleep. That's all she cared about. So then I get to rest, eternal rest. Well, I said to her, "In my belief, I don't think that's going to happen, and I think you're going to be up there dancing with Daddy." And she said, "Okay, whatever you say, but I'm going to tell you, when you look at the stars at night and you see them flickering, that's Mom and Dad dancing up there because they're so happy to be reunited again." She always wanted to be considerate. And she kept saying, "I don't want to die in the winter. It's too hard for people to come out in the snow." And so when I talked to her on Wednesday, which is the last time I spoke with her, she says to me, "Oh, honey, I'm going to be with your daddy soon. I'm so sorry. It's so cold outside." So she was trying to be considerate, and she just knew she couldn't hold on any longer. Mom, you've been a blessing in our lives. Love never dies, and we will always be connected. You'll always be in our hearts, Thank you for being our mom and our Mama May. Now, my daughter wrote a letter to her, and this is really in behalf of all the grandchildren because they all feel that way. And this was written in 2002. Dear Mama May and Papa Bob, I want you to know how truly grateful I am to have you as my grandparents. When I was growing up, and even now, I always felt extremely special and unconditionally loved. All of your grandchildren and great-grandchildren feel that way about you. That's because whenever any of us are with you, you both act like there is nothing more important in the world than us. You both have taught me so much about the importance of family, helping others, and forgiveness. Thank you. I don't have the words to express my feelings. I'm overwhelmed by your generosity. I'm so lucky to have the two most wonderful grandparents to guide and love me. You have made me so many miracles. You have made so many miracles for me. You make unreachable things possible for me. I can't express enough how grateful I am and how blessed I am to have you in my life. Thank you for all your gifts. Thank you for all the life lessons. And most importantly, thank you for believing in me. My mom often didn't understand what I was doing. Like when I left the fold for a little while and sort of was a little bit away from family when I was in my 40s and 50s, doing my own spiritual journey. Many times she said to me, honey, I don't understand what you're doing, but if you're not hurting anybody and you're happy, then I support you. So she didn't get it, and she loved me unconditionally. So let's now celebrate her eternal soul, which is free of the bedridden body and is soaring. I know she's with my daddy, and I know she's happy. Mom, I'll miss you, we'll love you always. Oh, she said to my sister, this is one of our little Mayisms, we have them written down. She told Bonnie that she wants people to applaud at her funeral. So those who are willing, she finally got her wish to say her final goodbyes and get to close her eyes. So Mom, we applaud you. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Meryl, very beautiful, very touching words. The rabbis say words that come from the heart enter the heart. And those words certainly penetrate our hearts and paint a very beautiful picture of your mom. We're going to rise now for the memorial prayer.
Eloah selichot, Chanun verachum, Erech apayim verav chesed, Hametzech parapesha, Ve'akravat yesha, Umenucha nechona, תחת כנפי השכינה במעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמת משה בת משה שהלכה לעולמה אנא בעל הרחמים זכרה לה לטובה כל זכויותיה וצדקותיה בארצו לחיים ופתח לה שערי צדק ויורה שערי חמלה וחנינה בסתר כנפיך הסתיריה לעולמים וצרור וצרור החיים ונשמתם אדוני הוא נחלתה ותנוח בשלום על משכבה. ונאמר Amen.
O God of forgiveness, you who are gracious and compassionate, patient and abundantly kind, we pray that you grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure, to the soul of our beloved May, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that you remember all the worthy and righteous deeds she performed in the land of the living. May she find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. May the Lord be her portion. May she rest in peace. And we say together, Amen. Interment will follow at the B'nai Yeshurun Chesterland Cemetery, after which the family will return to the Hershey residence at the Fairmount, 25805 Fairmount Boulevard, apartment 202. The family will be receiving friends for Shiva today, following burial until 5 p.m. and again 7 to 9 p.m. And tomorrow from 1 to 5? 3 to 5? From 1 to 5 and 7 to 9 at the Hershey residence. Contributions are suggested to the Hershey Montessori School and to the Jonathan Hershey Beck Memorial Fund or the Hospice of the Western Reserve.